This broadcast is a taxonomy of the world. I just spoke to 2 engineering students at FAU in the engineering department. I said I know 3 things they won't tell you at FAU. But I wasn't able to remember the 3rd thing, but I told them 2 things. A taxonomy of the world governments, international cultures, and global business is what this series is. So a taxonomy, you create a clear statement of the problem, evaluate the risk, loss, and effects, analyze why, who, when, where, how, apply legal and human rights laws, understand any precedents or identifiers, and remember to sue liable parties. This is a taxonomy diagram. Karine Jean-Pierre said silence is complicit. She was the 35th White House press secretary. She was replaced by a blonde Caroline Leavitt. Meghan Markle said, tell the right people. Who are the right people? I told the FBI while I was working for the city about an African-American state trooper damaging my house. That's my 4th Amendment rights. My ex-husband, of course, violated my 1st Amendment rights by not going to divorce court or family court. So who are the right people? I told ICE, FBI, and CIA, President, and Trump's organization. The Tiger sisters, Jean and Cherie, they are Stanford and Harvard graduate business schools. I listen to the Tiger sisters. So obviously what I am and will become using AI to generate around my thinking and my content will be here on YouTube. Real life is stranger than fiction. DeepSeek AI said the attacks and bullying by all of these African American police and the OPNA tracking, which OPNA is an acronym I had to create for the way African Americans use the Obama free phones and their official police radios to track people from Broward all the way to Jupiter. It's really cowardly and morally reprehensible. The Jews experienced the Holocaust and 2 decimations at the Gaza, but they brought dignity into the U.S. culture. The African Americans experienced slavery, but they brought chaos, anarchy, misogyny, and vulgarity by cowards. I guess the African Americans are finished with their winning game because Thursday, March 12, 2026, an African American state trooper waved goodbye to me in Boynton Beach. So my 1st Amendment rights, I was checking them on the AI. I have about 15 AI API services which I'm using. I prefer the DeepSeek AI. So families in divorce court, especially the rights of women and children and the safety of women and children, are protected by the 1st Amendment rights. My 4th Amendment rights, I checked those in AI, were violated, and I sent the pictures of the damage of my kitchen to the FBI. They damaged kitchen of both properties before they ran me out of government and ran me into the ground. So I look like O.J. Simpson's wife. They are gangs in government, and even in Fort Lauderdale, they tried to frame me with grand theft auto, but I did not allow them to get me that mentally off guard. So they sent a girl to attack me. So my 7th, 8th, and 9th Amendment rights, I checked in AI. That's a little cut of the actual amendments. All mine were violated. So it's the 1st Amendment, 4th Amendment, 7, 8, and 9, and I'm trying to take these to court. So I noticed that the 9/11 perpetrators were in West Delray while they went to pilot school, and I noticed that Muhammad Ali and other African Americans are linked to the Muslims, like you can see the Princess of Dubai, she's linked to other people of African descent. I think they will continue to steal and create mayhem, and they should be deported. Africa is destroyed, and USA will be destroyed also. The city of Delray Beach now has an African American city manager, and an African American was telling the road crew commands. I guess that's their goal, is to take over the whole country as Obama had his chance to. And what is the result? Is the United States better? Actually, I just saw a video about 50 trillion is missing in the United States. Now, a North Palm Beach County city now has mostly African American staff, and African American male controls the PO boxes at the post office. I also worked for the post office, that's federal government, and they increased the price of the PO boxes. And I tried to contact President Trump. I said, is this what you want under your nose? And I noticed at the state and municipal level, they are communicating on their progress of taking, like my boss, who was 37 years at this job, they pushed her out and putting in the African Americans. But the progress they're making, is it really good for America? As I said, they destroyed Africa, and their value system will cause them to destroy USA. So I'm inspired by all the Dakinis. Well, Dr. Arikana Shiomborikwa of Zimbabwe, she complained about the IMF interest rate, which really defeated the finances of Africa so that they can't take care of their children. Children haven't been to school in South Cameroon for 2 years, and children in Kenya live in cages and they eat every 4 days. Aisha Curry, her mother is Jamaican Chinese. She's one of the Dakinis. She's a restaurant manager. Sandra Appiah, Kamala Harris, and Meghan Markle. Dr. Arikana Shiomborikwa, she and her husband are doctors, and then she studied to be a scientist. She exposed that World War III was really a financial war with financial manipulations. And so Africa lost that war, and other countries also suffered very badly financially. So here's Kamala Harris telling us that they're gaslighting us. She also had a book tour. And we have this Chinese immigrant talking about women's rights at the UN. I tried to make a video for UN Women. I sent it off. I really need some AI enhancement. I just want to commend Beyonce because she's doing so much with the women of her clan. And the Harvard professor here is saying, what will people be like 10 to 20 years from now? There's so many lies and so much deception, and there's been so much financial manipulation. People can see what's happening in Venezuela. What kind of people are we going to have in 10, 20 years? I interview and research a community. I asked Gen Z, will you be happy? One rich Roman Catholic said he wants meaning. He's a finance major. I just spoke to 3 kids, engineering students in the engineering department. I'm worried about the type of people, the Gen Z now, the people who are 13 to 28. What kind of people will they be? When I was a teenager, my parents did such a good job of parenting. I used to say, oh, for the good old days, just like my parents used to say, good old days, and people love their neighbor, etc. They had Christian values. So it's historical that Melania Trump met with 45 countries about the first American-made humanoid robot, fostering the future. So the big men kill us all off with COVID, and they're bringing in the robots because the working class gives too much trouble. Well, Bernie Sanders said they're getting rid of the working class, and I questioned a few other people. I said, does it cost more or cost less? Some people think it costs more, but they don't give any trouble. So Dr. Jordan Peterson, he's one of the people who I listen to all the time. He's a psychologist. He said we have to think about higher impulses. And that's what I like about coming over to FAU, because when I'm in Wendy's or I'm out in the public, people are not thinking about right action and the welfare of others. Those are the higher impulses. I hear people in the street, they're not learning anything new, they're not creating value or anything. They are just dealing with the lower impulses, and they try to pass that on to you or throw that on you, throw that garbage on you. I think people are living rent-free in my brain. As Karen Jean-Pierre said, she got pushed out her job, I got pushed out of my job too. And I have a variety of government service, including federal. So I said to the 33 countries of the Caribbean, Central America, and South America, which I now call CCASA, 650 million people, 33 countries, heads together and harmony. It's a list of countries. There is some volatility and vulnerability apparent in Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Paraguay because Nazis fled to those areas. And there is volatility and vulnerability in dealing with Russia and China. But Jamaica is a country, the slogan is one love. And Barbados' slogan is Quiet Love. And CARICOM visited Jamaica after the horrible hurricane. So Harmony is a FAU owl. I bought that owl at Changing Lives Boutique. I just had a really good shopping trip over there at Changing Lives thrift shop too. I had a shopping list and I got some really great organic looking clothes. But FAU mascot is the owl, and it's not really a joke. Harmony is the name of this owl, and he's a manager for CCASA, that's the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. So my international human rights attorney, I kept posting her Amal Clooney videos on LinkedIn. Then I finally went to her law firm and emailed her clerk at her law firm, and I sent her the videos of what I think needs to be done if she can handle my case. And I also contacted other law firms. So we'll see how this proceeds. So this is a missed opportunity to save my son's life. This is in Jamaica at my mother's house. That's the lady who helped her because she has a lifetime in public service. She retired and then she was taken back on contract and she worked till she was 75 for the government of Jamaica. That's my grandmother. My grandmother and my grandaunt had a restaurant, bar, and bakery, and their husbands were dead, and they operated it and hired the children of the family from the farm or different areas to work in the business. It was successful. It went to New York and Florida. My ex-husband even worked for them in Florida. That's my son sitting in front of his great-grandmother. And, my mother bought this house in front of the elementary school, so I just had to go across the street to school and come home for lunch. And my son would have been mad if I left him there, but he'd be alive now. I feel like children are more safe in Jamaica, or at least maybe Jamaican children are more safe in Jamaica. Our struggle was about the gifted class. This is Hagan Ranch Elementary School, and here's a document about that's a school for gifted and talented children. So the chorus of my life is, it was not about the house. Americans, they had to take the lower impulse and, the woman wants the house and this and that. It was about the gifted class and the value of a child who test gifted at 6. I did not test gifted and my ex-husband did not test gifted. It's about value. I tell the deportees, teach people to ask in English, did I have a good time? When you're deporting me, what are you taking me from? Perhaps the white hunter-gatherers like the Nilotic unrestrained rituals. The big men are the winners. They just toy with us. Here's Bill Clinton in Jamaica. My mother died, and we are email planning the funeral, which will be on Zoom. She was such a dynamo. Like I said, she had a lifetime in public service, lifetime servant of Jehovah, lifetime love of her clan, a lifetime with acute Cuban fighter and mechanic of the Royal Air Force. But she doesn't know that my father started training me at 9 to be a Cuban fighter. And his training is now helping me to be able to help CCASA, which is the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. My parents were the best. They gave me immutable self-esteem. And the blockchain is also immutable. That's my mom. That's my aunt from Canada, where I was supposed to go to school. So I studied French to go to school in Canada, and I ended up with the Jehovah's Witnesses in Miami at Miami-Dade Community College, and then I graduated from Florida Atlantic University in business. And that's the funeral of my mother. And that is the funeral on Zoom, New York, and Canada. World War III was financial manipulations. And really, we can see the results are so devastating to Africa that Dr. Arikana Shiambori-Kwa had to explain that Africa is forever defeated because they can't take care of their children. They're trying now in the Sahel to use their goal to rebuild Africa. I work with Africa every day, but I really owe my loyalty to the CCASA, which is the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. Because also in the Caribbean and other countries where people were deported, they also experienced the financial manipulations of IMF and other organizations, which are on other videos. World War IV will be about relationships, trade, and military action. And we saw the U.S. military in Venezuela. Here's a screenshot of some of the things with the U.S. military in the Caribbean. So the first ship, the skipper was sanctioned, so the United States had a right to seize it, but the second ship, the Century, was full of oil, worth $70 million, the ship full of oil. They seized that, and so that is piracy because it was not a sanctioned ship. So the isolation which Donald Trump put on the United States by 194 tariffs in 194 countries, 31 deportations, military presence, it helped us really to see, because when he isolated the United States, he deported people, and then he went into Venezuela and took what he wanted. So we can see for the first time. So 60 years ago, the Americans came to Jamaica, and they took bauxite and aluminum at the Kaiser port in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, and they did the financial manipulations, and they took 7 things, and the Jamaican dollar went from double the US dollar to 0.0064 of a US dollar. A lot of things are happening in the world, and it's really morally reprehensible. And we think that the big ones bullying the little ones is really cowardice. I see the Jews are busy making money, but at least they bring dignity to the U.S. culture. I think the white ones like the African Americans' Nilotic unrestrained rituals, because the African Americans are good at sports like basketball and football. So the white ones make comments as if they're at a basketball game or a football game, even if it's about somebody's life. So I'm helping Africa a little. I made these flyers, and you really have to listen to the educated people of Africa, the professors, the scientists like Dr. Arikana Shiomborikwa. If you listen to them, you understand what has happened. And you can make a decision about what you feel is fair. But I owe my loyalty to the Caribbean, Central America, and South America, CCASA. We are trying to be the custodians for the uplifting and uniting of the 33 countries, keeping their heads together and having harmony. Trump said that 13 trillion comes into the U.S. every year. That was after he took Venezuela. We are talking to the law firms about litigation of $275 billion. We have video sequences and video series that we present to the attorneys. I see that culture, educational system, and parenting really equals to IQ. And I want to thank my parents who gave me immutable self-esteem, because I've been through so much. I've been run into the ground. I've been abused by African American police. White people have permitted the African Americans to push me out of my government job. But the 3 things that happened for me in Jamaica really helped me to hold on and continue what I'm doing. My parents gave me immutable self-esteem. Cambridge University managed our high school, and One Love culture of Jamaica is making it possible. My last word to the African Americans is, your Muslim 9/11 friends, your Nilotic unrestrained rituals are in conflict with the CCASA and Jamaica's One Love and Barbados' Quiet Love. African Americans got away with something. I'm about to fix it, and UPNA must stay away from me. I asked the CIA. I told them that they don't like us and they only try to use us or rob us. So UPNA is an acronym I created from Obama Free Phone Nigger Bragging Gang Stalking Attacks. Of course, I have activities every day. I'm sure my Deport African Americans video got 117 views, so it's getting out. But I feel like they started it when we bullied me out of my job with the city of Delray Beach, which was my 5th government job. I had federal somewhere for a short time in between that. So I want to thank to the federal government for the incredible job they are doing managing Social Security Retirement Fund, because it gives me mobility, flexibility, it buys me time, especially what I need to foster the future with AI and robotics. We reject the people, white or Muslim, who support you. You are morally reprehensible cowards. You're fighting women and children. Kamala Harris said she did cuss one time. We need to know what the game is. I don't like the game, okay? I don't like the support the game has. It's violating our rights under the Constitution and our international human rights. Thank you.